For more on the humanitarian aid waiting to be delivered to Gaza, I want to bring in Chris Livesay. He's following all of this for us from Cairo. So, Chris, the United Nations Secretary General actually arrived on the Egyptian side of the Rafah border crossing this morning, I presume to make a point to get all eyeballs on this crossing. There are hundreds of trucks waiting to cross. But this deal to get humanitarian aid across, it seems incredibly fragile right now.
It is, and it's incredibly frustrating because it's been one postponement after the next. According to the United Nations, we should begin to see those trucks start to cross into Gaza and deliver aid within the next day or so. But that's something that the Palestinians on the Palestinian side of the border have been hearing for many, many days right now. And this is, just remember, the tip of the iceberg when it comes to all of the aid that they need. Just 20 trucks, and it's limited to humanitarian aid like food, water, and medicine, not fuel. And that's crucial because they need fuel in order to power pumps and generators and instruments for heating water because they don't have enough clean drinking water, so they need to sanitize it before it can be drunk. It's really a humanitarian crisis on their hands. These 20 trucks are, you could say, a taste test because Israel is waiting to see exactly what's inside of these trucks and if they would be confiscated by Hamas. It's the last thing they want to do is actually support the enemy that they're trying to root out from Gaza.
Yeah, you make a really great point because even prior to this war, Gaza was getting like 100 trucks a day in aid. So the $20 or 20 trucks, it's not going to really do much. But to Israel's concern, what measures are being put in place to ensure that Hamas doesn't get its hands on this aid? Because once it crosses the border, Gaza is in Hamas's hands.
Exactly. So, the United Nations assures that everything that can be done will be done to ensure that there is nothing ballistic in these trucks. Egypt ensures the same thing because all these trucks are idling on the Egyptian side of the border. But you're right. At the end of the day, Hamas is the authority in the Gaza Strip. And so when they're the only ones with guns, who's to ensure that these trucks don't get diverted and taken into the hands of militants that might then use it to sustain their own militants and continue to launch attacks on Israel? If Israel gets a whiff of that happening, they can close this down at any moment. Keep in mind, they don't actually control the crossing, but they control the skies. They control these airstrikes that have been raining down on the Gaza Strip, and they have indeed already targeted areas at this border crossing and the town of Rafah, and there'd be nothing stopping them from doing that again.
And I know there's an ongoing conversation about refugees, whether or not, while aid is going in, should humans be able to come out? Some of these Gazans, some of them have dual citizenship in other countries and will be able to go somewhere else, but others won't. And they are desperate. And one of the places they could end up is in Egypt. And I'm curious about how they are responding in Cairo to this inaction when it comes to Palestinians.
Yeah, you mentioned the ones who have dual citizenship. Among those are between 500 and 600 U.S. passport holders in the Gaza Strip. That's according to the U.S. State Department. It appears that those are the Palestinians who would be at the front of the line if and when that gate to Egypt is eventually open. That's because they would have a place to go. So those U.S. passport holders could come to the United States. What Egypt is really worried about is those who don't have dual citizenship. What happens to them? Are they stateless? Do they then wind up on Egyptian soil indefinitely? They've already seen that happen in places like Syria and Lebanon, right on the border of Israel. And those were intended to be temporary camps, but they became permanent after many, many decades when they just simply could not go back to their homes. Egypt doesn't want to find itself in the exact same conundrum, especially when they're worried about there being Hamas elements that could blend in with the otherwise peaceful civilians trying to flee from the Gaza Strip. They could then continue to launch attacks on Israel, and then if Israel were forced to return fire on those Hamas elements, In Egypt, you would no longer have this localized conflict. You could have a regional one on your hands. So Egypt is in a very, very tricky situation. It's also enduring a massive economic crisis. And so having a mass influx of refugees could also be a huge disruption on the social fabric of this country.
So true. Chris, thank you very much.